Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about breathing into success. Isn't that a thinker? And luckily, I have Ron here who's going to help us think about this in a whole new way. So, thank you so much, Ron, for coming onto my show, sharing your
Mhm.
time and your perspective with me. I'm truly excited for this topic. So, let's just dive right in. When you hear those words, breathing into success. What does that make you think about?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
uh, breathing is sort of the foundation for personal development. It's the foundation for opening up your heart and learning to love and accept yourself. It's the foundation for opening up your mind so you can access all of the capabilities that we have. So, breathing in success is just what is absolutely, that's going to guide you there. It's the foundation of your growth, and it's the vehicle for your growth.
Yes, I love how you said that it's your vehicle for your growth because people don't realize how much we need to have an open mind, an open heart, an open perspective, and just breathing, just taking that time to just concentrate on your breath and just be mindful of that can truly change your life. Like I've spoken to someone where if you learn how to breathe in through your nose, you can already prevent yourself from developing dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's just like, why wouldn't you want to figure out breathing if it can help you even in the long term of things? So for you, when did you realize that your success was more than just a plaque or more than just a whatever label that somebody can give you or whatever title that you can obtain?
Well, I think success is all about the effect that you're and the impact that you're having in the world. So that is what it's all about for me is how great an impact can I have, and so the greater impact, the more people that are able to transform and the more people they influence, then the greater success I have. And so it's been probably in a gradual development over the years and with different high points. And, I had international centers in Switzerland and, of course, in America and, just different times, different levels of success. And yeah, so it's all success, though.
Yeah, and I love that because people don't realize that success varies in more than one way. That success it can be minor and small things or big and major things. You can be acknowledged in front of thousands and millions of people, and then you could be acknowledged in front of an animal and that's successful, or in front of a child and still have that successful moment. And I think it just really comes down to the individual and that subjectiveness when it comes to success and what it really means to me. So, what are some misconceptions when it comes to um, obtaining and developing success?
Well, the biggest issue, the biggest challenge I see people have is they're always looking outside of themselves for all the answers, for the solutions, for who they should be, how they should be. And that's the biggest deterrent to success. My wife and I were visiting a different town for a meeting, and we stopped in this hibachi. And I didn't even really know what it was, other than I thought it was Japanese, but it's where they have the big grill and everybody sits around. Well,
Yeah.
this young couple, they sat us next to them, and we hadn't been talking very long before the woman said, "So how do you know, I'm 28. How do you know when you're finally, free and can be yourself?" And I said, "Well, the biggest problem is that people are looking outside of themselves for all of those answers. And the true answer is you have to learn to accept and love yourself unconditionally. And it's as you breathe and you heal that emotional backlog, as you really get in alignment and accept yourself, which of course takes learning to breathe and feel and self-awareness. And what happens is your heart opens. And as your heart opens, as you breathe and your heart opens, your mind also opens. So all of a sudden, that left logical brain is just one aspect of a team rather than the dominant pattern. The amygdala, the emotional center, isn't running the show. the forebrain has come into play as the conscious CEO that it was meant to be. So all of a sudden, literally, you gain through that self-acceptance and self-awareness and of who and what you are, you see what your highest intention is. You know what you want to aspire to. So you have a direction in life, you have a purpose, and that meaning, that comes into your life with that acceptance all of a sudden makes you excited about life. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully said because people don't realize that when you continue to search outside of yourself, then you're never going to feel fulfilled of all that you are and all that you already are. You know what I mean? People don't realize like you are a beautiful whole individual, all that you are, but they fail to see that because comparison is always right there. They feel like they have to compare themselves to no success, compare themselves to no joy, compare themselves to no happiness and love. And in reality, it's like you embody love. You already embody it in your heart and in your mind and in your soul. And it's a very complicated situation to even get into. And I love the fact that you were talking about if you just breathe in, it'll open your mind, open your heart, get those flowing through because it really does. Like when we constantly hold our breath, even when working out, it stops. You know what I mean? It halts us. You know what I mean? It causes a ripple effect in certain ways. So when you just focus on breathing, it takes a moment to just center yourself and you realize the anxieties that you're feeling and you don't need to feel that way and the worries that are right there on your shoulder that's hovering over you, you don't have to acknowledge them. They're not really there. They're invisible. They're imaginary. They're in your mind at some point. So it's like breathing really does help us come back and connect with the moment of the now because all we have is the now. All we have is this present moment. And if you just remember to just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, however that works for you, just breathing truly does cause a ripple effect where you just realize like, wow, I'm okay. Everything's all right. We're good. And I feel like you were talking about earlier, empathy, I think is something that truly connects us as humans, you know what I mean? And it allows us to remember that you're just trying, I'm just trying, and it's okay if we mess things up. We're all human, but we learn. And as long as you see things as a learning opportunity, I really do believe that it really changes us in a positive direction. So like how do you breathe? You know what I mean? Do you breathe in through your nose? Are you a mouth breather?
Well, we're nothing but energy, and just in terms of breathing, when you're not breathing, you're nurturing your fear. When
Mm,
you're breathing, you're nurturing your love, your openness, and your possibility. So it's really a matter of we're always regulating our energy. And the best tool to regulate our energy is, of course, our breathing. So rather than stop breathing and shutting down half of our brain and half of our neurological systems, stay with that breathing. And that sometimes that breathing is going to be if you're caught off guard and you're really challenged by that, then you might do an open mouth. You might breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth and just extend that exhale. And that allows you to keep moving forward, but it also allows you to get more centered in that process. As you move forward and you get more centered, then you might breathe in through your nose and into your mouth, but with the mouth closed. And that's going to build the energy, build the consciousness that you're in at any given moment. And so, that's what you're doing is just sitting there
I like that.
and then
I know.
extended that exhale in the mouth and kind of slightly constricting the throat. And you can hear it kind of like a river constricted. And as you do that, you build your energy, become more conscious, you become more aware. You see the options that you have. When you're not breathing, you see everything as fearful and challenging. As you breathe, as you stay into that higher level of consciousness, you are more aware of the opportunities that come within everything that enters your life,
Yeah.
And then you might just do a
Yeah.
soft belly breathing to allow you just to keep moving along that being
Yeah.
present, being curious.
Yeah, I love that. That being curious and just allowing yourself to just figure out ways of just focusing on just the moments and just the energy of just yourself. Because I heard that before where we are energy and we have vibrations and we consume in certain things that are around us that we don't even realize because we can't see those wavelengths. But when we allow ourselves to breathe, it really does ground us in a way. Like if we were to step on the dirt with our feet, another form of just grounding yourself is just breathing so that you can stimulate yourself in a way that you can really receive everything in a different notation. So it's like for you, when did you realize that you needed to concentrate on a different manner? You know what I mean? Like refocus yourself or shift your perspective.
Mhm. In the Marine Corps, I'd lost a lot of friends in Vietnam, and to be honest with you, I was a complete mess, very suicidal, and after trying to commit suicide unsuccessfully, I went up and lived on an island in Washington, in Puget Sound area. There was an old cabin, wood stove, outhouse kind of situation, and I just sat, reading books and walking, and in that time, because I was truly such a mess, my mind started getting quieter. And as I sat there, I started breathing, not from some sort of lesson somebody had taught me, but just naturally because the body wanted to quiet. The body wanted to heal. The mind wanted to quiet. I wanted to find answers. And so to find those answers, you have to quiet the mind. You have to breathe, open the heart, open the mind, so that you have integrated whole brain thinking, even big mind thinking, I call it. And so as I explored that in the quiet of middle of nowhere and there were no people around, and after a few months, I really gained a huge amount of insight as to, where I'd come from, what I was at the effect of, what I needed to heal. And then that's where I really began my journey and, went out from there.
Yeah, that's beautiful because I don't think people realize like when you just connect with nature, it really does put you in a reset mode, and the fact that your body was just trying to do this natural process of healing by just refocusing your mind, quieting and all the extra excess noise. You know what I mean? We don't realize how much noise and distractions that we have around us or how much our mind is filling us up with just chaos from the past or chaos or from chaotic moments, from traumatic moments, because that can really take a toll on our hearts, take a toll on our minds, take a toll on our whole well-being, and when we are able to just listen and just stay quiet and just get away from the chaos of the world, it really puts things into perspective that the things that you thought mattered didn't really matter as much, and the worries that or the pressures that other people put on you aren't as big of a deal, because what matters is your life, what matters is your mind, what matters is just do you feel sane, do you feel heard, do you feel loved, and do you know that you are already loved, do you love yourself, you know what I mean, do you care about yourself enough to want to take a walk or to want to just have that separation from reality. And I think a lot of people don't really have that understanding that it's possible. You know what I mean? You can choose to take that trip. You know what I mean? You don't need to get away on an island and desert yourself necessarily, but you can rent an Airbnb in the woods or, you know what I mean? Go somewhere that's much more like has that um the quietness where you lower down the windows and you don't hear loud music bumping, you don't hear screaming, you don't hear the chaoticness of the city, but you have like this peace, and it's something amazing with fresh air. Oh my goodness. Like I'm from up north and I live in Wisconsin, and the air up here is so much more pure and fresh. Like you could just taste it, you know what I mean? It's so good compared to when I lived down south and I lived in Florida and I lived in Georgia, and even when I lived in the East Coast and in Connecticut and things like that, and even in Texas, it was just that the airs is just different, you know what I mean? So sometimes when you move and you expand yourself and going into like the woods or to anywhere like those net national parks and things like that, you're able to breathe in this fresh air that's like a fresh cold cup of water, and oh my goodness, it's like the best refreshing thing for your body, and you don't even realize like you needed it until like you get it, and then it's like, wow, this is so good. So I guess, is there any cons that comes with breathing? Because I can't necessarily think of any, but is there any cons can you think of, or any at all?
Sure.
Yeah.
Become more aware. And
I guess.
as you become more aware, then all the things that you've been hiding in your gut and that emotional backlog in your cave that you don't want to look at are going to start to be released. And that gets
Yeah.
very scary, very threatening for people. Except for that is the journey. That's the hero's journey, the heroine's journey. It's really learning to breathe into and understand where you come from, who you are, what you gave up. You know, every child wants love more than anything else, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it as a child. And so, how many aspects of themselves did they stuff away? How many emotional expressions or abilities to express their feelings did they hide away because they weren't acceptable in their family of origin or in their neighborhood or in their setting of where they were growing up? And so the journey really is reconnecting with all those parts that we hid away, reintroducing yourself to and making friends with, learning to accept and love all of those different aspects. And that's the journey of wholeness. That's the journey of learning to love and accept and unconditionally, become yourself. And that's how you become the authentic whole person that becomes that leader, that becomes that being that can really serve in the world.
Oh yeah, I love that because we don't realize how much of our younger self is still within us. You know what I mean? And we don't realize how much we've blocked it. And the fact that you use the analogy of an emotional cave, I love that. I love that because we stick our desires, our wishes, our hopes, our dreams sometimes into a cave because we decided, or the society has decided, family decided, somebody decided or told you that you're never going to make it, you're not going to do it, be more realistic, get with the program. You know what I mean? Things that really take away from what you've already leaned into and what you already knew that you always wanted to do, and sometimes it's like we have to move that boulder away from that cave and bring it all out and air it out and clean up that closet or that cave so that we can really remember what we really are designed to do, because everyone has something so special and so unique that only they can bring into this world and only are able to help the people that they come in contact with. And if you are not allowing yourself to step into all that you are, then you're really doing yourself a disservice. You know what I mean? Not only for the world, but
Doing the
for
world a
yourself.
disservice too.
Yeah, exactly. Because now nobody gets to really see the beauty that you can really be. Nobody can really be impacted by your testimony because everybody has a testimony. It doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. Everyone has a testimony that is worth hearing, that is worth learning from, because we're humans. We're here to connect. We're here to sense people, to connect with energy, So it really makes things more impactful for everybody. So Ron, what motivates you? What keeps you going?
Having become a meditator early on, and that really became a way of life for me. In meditation, you not only expand your consciousness so that you're more aware and present in your life, but you can quiet your mind and even go beyond awareness that you have a body, go beyond awareness that you're on a planet. And you can really dissolve and at some point recognize that there really is only oneness. And it's in that oneness, recognizing you're a part of that oneness, that you realize whatever I can bring to contribute to the peace and the moving that oneness into a higher state of consciousness, being more caring, and that's what motivates me. And unfortunately, I have the ability to help people shift levels of consciousness so they become more self-aware. They become more aware of what they're thinking, feeling, and what state they're in at any given point. And the people that I work primarily are leaders. And so that has a huge impact. I mean, they might have 2,000 employees. So not only does it enhance their life and their lives of their family and the intimacy and with their kids or their partner, but they really become more compassionate, empathetic with others. They become more vulnerable and in that sharing of themselves, safer to be around. And that creates a more cooperative, collaborative environment that increases productivity and profits. So it all works. It's all
Yeah.
designed quite perfectly.
Yeah, it really is because people don't realize when you step into vulnerability, you really step into a form of really true connection. And I love that meditation is your form of just that motivates you because has already helped you from the very beginning to quiet your mind and to listen. Oh my goodness, to listen because I started meditation and I didn't realize how much how better my listening skills have been. You know what I mean? Just by meditating because the quietness around me and how I'm able to quiet my mind, I'm able to hear better, I'm able to listen better. I'm downstairs in the living room and my sons are upstairs in the room still sleeping and I know when they move from their bed, not because I have a quiet like a thin walls or a squeaky house or anything like that, but it's just that I know and I can hear them just shifting their bodies in their bed while I am trying to silence my mind. So it's like it's so amazing because I know when the bus is passing by my house and I know you know what I mean? I know the traffic that's going through. I already know the time frame. Like I don't even have to look at my clock. I already know. Okay, so it's already about 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like I already have that idea because I already know what the routine is around me already because I already was able to silence my mind. And before that, it was never a known thing. It was just like excess noise. You know what I mean? But now that excess noise is not noise anymore. It's familiar. It's familiar for me, and it brings me back to myself. Reminding myself that I have a place on this earth. And I bring value in one way or another, and if somebody doesn't see it, well, that's okay, because maybe they're just not ready to see it yet. But I know that there will be somebody that will see it, and that's going to hold value some way or another, and I think that's something that I wish more people can really understand and gravitate towards. And it sucks, Ron, because time is catching up to us, and I feel like I could keep talking to you. I love your perspective. I love the value that you bring into this conversation. But what can be some lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Have the courage to fall in love with yourself.
Oh, I love that.
Have the courage to breathe and really explore and heal all aspects of yourself. Fall in love with yourself and recognize who you truly are, and then you'll know how to contribute to the world. You'll know, you're just, my ego's job is not making me safe in the world. It's just making sure that I'm breathing, being curious and conscious. Because if I'm conscious enough to be aware of everything that's coming into my life, then I'm seeing the opportunity in everything in my life. And so, yeah, be brave, fall in love with yourself. We need you
Yeah.
to contribute to the world, not be frightened in the corner.
Yes, exactly. We don't need you in the corner, rocking yourself away, waiting for the time to be done. Like, no, no, honey. Come on out, step up, step forward, and see yourself for all that you are. All the amazing things that you have inside of you that's waiting for the world. The world is just waiting for it to come out of you, waiting to feel it. And even you are waiting for it to come out of you, for you to love yourself, for you to gain that understanding that you are okay. Everything's okay. And whatever happened to you that you felt like destroyed you or tinted you in any way, no worries. People are gonna love it anyways. It's gonna have its purpose one day. And that's what you gotta hold on to. Is one day somebody will see it. Or on that day that you acknowledge it, that's the day that you will know that you are perfect as all that you are. People look for perfection, not realizing that they are already perfect. And it's like having that curiosity of knowing what you can do for yourself or do for even somebody else. Because even when we are so stuck on ourselves, we can lose everything. But when we put ourselves into service and serving other people and helping other people, we realize a gift inside of us that we don't even realize. You know what I mean? So it truly does allow us to just be curious, be vulnerable, and contribute your part. Oh my goodness. Yes, I could continue on talking for you for hours on end, Ron. Thank you so much. And
Uh,
ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, Go check out Ron. I have access to his website and all the great content that he has to offer the world so that you can continue on thinking because isn't that the point? Yes, it is. So keep on thinking, y'all. Bye.